Hello, Internet! This is the video for July 15th, according to the calendar. This was our day in Potosi. Or I guess our full day in Potosi. Which I used to call Potosi, but apparently that's incorrect.
I think we've been mispronouncing most of the
oh, absolutely. I pronounce them very French, and apparently that is just wrong.
Don't worry, they let us know.
yeah, we're keenly aware of everything that we've mispronounced so far. Anyway, so
we got a nice late wake up.
Yeah, we actually got to sleep in for once, which was incredible. We didn't leave the hotel till I guess we had breakfast at 10 and left the hotel at about 10:30.
From there, we went. Joyce said she was going to take us on a little bit of a walking tour, show us some local things.
Right.
We went to this church and convent
Yeah.
that was the oldest in Bolivia, I believe.
Yeah.
Like really neat.
1540s. It started up. We climbed up to the top of that to take some photos. Really kind of cool up there. It's all like indigenously made tile on the roof because it's so old.
You can't touch any of it.
Yeah, so they have like very specific paths that you can walk around. But you can get all the way to the top and get some nice shots over the city and shots of the silver mines in the mountain. And then from the top of the church, we went down to the bottom of the church, where they have crypts, and the guide was telling us about kind of how they prepare the bodies, and they use clays, and it's all candlelit, and there's skulls and
no flash photography.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy, but really cool.
Terrifyingly dark.
Yeah, it was cool. So we kind of saw the highs of the church and the lows of the church, and then kind of from there we
hopped in some taxis.
Yeah, we took some cabs out to this really tiny little local place where they make, I can't remember what it's called.
I can't pronounce it even if I knew what it was called.
It has some letters in it.
It's essentially a volcano soup is how it was described.
Yeah, they take these volcanic rocks and they superheat them and they toss them into a soup, and obviously it causes the soup to bubble and boil like a volcano.
Really neat.
Yeah, so it was
more interested in taking pictures of the soup than I was eating. It was really good.
It was very
spicy.
good. It was, yeah, and like there's no menu at this place. You either have the soup or
the
pork. And so we all had the soup, which was really kind of cool.
A lot of locals. We were the only
white people for miles, which was awesome. Like it was like full of just normal people who come here probably more frequently than we do to enjoy the soup.
From there we walked back, the long walk back to our hotel. We're at 4,060 meters now at Potosi. It
was kind of a mini tour of the city kind of as we hiked home. Long hike being that high.
Yeah.
So it took us a while. We'd also, we dropped off, was this the day that we did our laundry?
Yeah.
We had dropped off our laundry in the morning at the hotel. And I guess as it turned out, we kind of had the best of the experiences with it. But when we got it back, all my little Canada pins had vanished out of my pocket. And a couple of the people had like stained shirts. There were things missing.
People were missing underwear and socks and leggings, and like we put them in a bag.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a poor experience for the first time doing laundry.
Yeah, we had waited as long as we could to really kind of give our laundry to someone to do, and it didn't really pan out all that well. Got most of the pins back, but otherwise meh. But at 2:00 we headed out to the silver mines. We were going on a tour of those with. I guess they're called what are they? Real Deal or Big Deal Tours. It's a tour company that's owned and run by former miners. And so, I guess, we were told that this was going to be kind of close quarters.
Yeah.
Didn't really expect it to be this close of quarters. So it's, I guess we'll start from the start. So we hop on a bus and we go up and we start at the Miners Street, which is where kind of everyone gets supplies.
Purchase some cocoa leaves. People purchase dynamite.
Yeah, you can buy dynamite on the street here.
It's like, what, 5 or 10 Bolivian pesos, which is cheap. A couple bucks.
So I kind of wanted to blow stuff up. I didn't end up buying dynamite. I figured I'd buy something kind of to help on the safety side. Safety first. So we bought some nice shiny new, like a neoprene and latex glove, as well as a bag of coca leaves, because apparently they just blow through coca leaves in the mines. So we're like, okay, well, we'll get some gifts for the miners.
From there, we suited up. We went to this little
hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Where the tours are kind of run out of.
Yeah.
And we got, miners' jackets and miner pants and
a helmet with a light on top and some rubber boots to go through.
Yeah, so we really looked the part, which was kind of cool. Then we headed up the mountain from there to where they actually process or do kind of the first round of processing on the silver. So they use a whole bunch of different toxic chemicals and
they crush the rocks and then they froth them and pull out the silver and mix them with chemicals so it's pure. And
so I think like they don't get very high purity. They ship a fairly raw product, which still has silver and zinc and tin.
They ship a lot of products to the U.S., some to Canada,
and a lot to Asia. So this we kind of saw. I call it like a mid-range product. It might have been 30 or 40% silver at this point, so not worth stealing. But from there, we then headed up further up the mountain to the actual mine. And this is one of the oldest or one of the older mines in operation.
It's had the most silver extracted from it.
Yeah.
So it's considered the largest.
Yeah. It was an old government owned mine. It's still active, but I think for the most part now what they're getting out of there is tin and copper and a little bit of iron and stuff like that. So it's fairly depleted on the silver side. But we go in there. The start was not so bad. A little bit of crouching. I think it may have been a bad start for Laura.
Yeah, a little claustrophobic.
But
a little bit of a panic attack. 4 steps in, and it didn't stop.
Yeah. So we hiked through this thing, or we went kind of into it and down. Some of the passages, you could actually stand up in, but a lot of them you were fairly hunched over, especially being large white folk. These mines were done as cheaply as possible. So if the people were small, then the mine shafts were small. We had one where we had to crawl kind of on your hands and knees. Rocks are all kind of right up against your shoulders. Laura has a scratch on her back from kind of shoving through this tiny little hole to get into the next shaft. And that was...
I had to make a few attempts at it.
I will not be a professional spelunker. There's no way. It was all right. I think Canadian mines and it sounds like German mines and stuff where it's a little bit more built up might be more my thing. A proper engineered mine. These little
sketchy,
dug up and blown up and partially collapsed, and you can tell where they had to reinforce with wood. It was an incredible experience. We ran into some miners down there, setting dynamite. They didn't blow it while we were in the mine because
it was an experience. That's all.
Don't want to endanger tourists. Gave some gloves to some guys who were shoveling ore, and he threw his gloves away right away and put on the new ones. We had a little guide girl who kind of stuck with us to make sure that we got through it okay. So
and half the time she would go in ahead of us and be you can stand, and I'd hit my head. You're a little shorter than I am. I can't stand.
The important thing is we made it through.
All the way through. We didn't have to turn back.
No, we even hung out with the kind of Andean devil god of the mines, Tio, for a bit. It's an interestingly ornamented statue with very large genitalia, and you make offerings to this, and we kind of heard some of the miners' stories and things like that, and then we headed back out of the mine through a different path, and so we lived. We can now proudly say that we went through the silver mines in Potosi,
and we're very glad to be out.
Yeah, and I don't think I would go back in them again. I will take my cushy desk job over to the life of a miner any day. These guys work very, very hard, and I'm in no way fit enough willing
small enough
to go back and do that for a living. So, but from the mines, we headed out for supper with the rest of the group. We met up with everybody, and Laura had some pique macho, which we've later found out kind of made her sick. There's a beer sauce on it, so it was delicious at the time, but a vengeful dish.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that was pretty much the end of our experience in Potosi. So we'll pick this up early the next morning when we head on our way to Sucre. See you soon.